All right. Just setting up. I don't know if that's me viewing it or is it someone else viewing it, but friends. Here we are. Wow, it was perfect. That worked pretty well. The only thing is I can't get to my YouTube account. There I am. The audio sounds good to me. This is gonna double check. The audio sounds good to me. Well, it's happening twice, but I don't know if that's sorry, I'm gonna have to do a couple tests before I go live. So the one person who's listening, you'll need to wait. Alright. Thing is, I can't let it go to the mic and then listen to that. Alright, just doing a quick audio check, and then we'll see if it's doubled. Oh, okay, I just figured out what was happening. So we should now have only one mic working. Latency is pretty low. Alright. Excellent. Well, thanks for going through that with me. Yo. Yeah, I gotta figure out how to do YouTube interactions. I'm trying to figure out whether I'm going to continue with the YouTube streaming moving forward. I like the platform, but there's a lot to learn. I think maybe I'm trying too hard doing all this other stuff. And yeah, I don't know. But for work reasons, I need to figure out how YouTube works. So this is I talked about this on the Twitch stream. Just checking to see if it worked. Yeah. I talked about this on the Twitch stream, is that most of what I'm doing, all these different properties, this tweeting, the live streaming, it actually supports my day job a little bit. Because I get to practice basically live with one person watching. So yeah, well, I guess we have 3 people watching now at this point. But yeah, so I'm going to jump into a podcast, and I'm going to actually lower the music in a sec once I get set up. Just want to pull out the chat real quick and get started. This is probably like most YouTube streamers probably don't go to the effort that I go to and go live before you're actually ready, but I like this opportunity. Also, you know, it's just between us and friends here. All right, so let me grab my notes I'm gonna go through my notes and chat through Clubhouse. Man, I didn't think I'd be talking about this today, but yeah, I don't know why this Twitter thing is. There we go. All right, let me see if my screens work. There we go. All right, yeah, so this is what we're going to be talking about. It's this tweet right here. Nothing against Amaritata Renati. I've actually never heard her name said out loud. But basically, this tweet actually sparked me to think about a thought process I didn't even have about Clubhouse. But let's let's mute the music now. And these headphones are getting a little bit of hum. So let me see if I can fix that. All right, that's much better. Yeah, it must be the cord. All right, so let me go back to this. All right, so I'm gonna start in 3, 2, 1. We're just gonna say this developing story. I think this is actually episode. Let's see what this is. 76. All right, so that's 77. All right, so we're gonna start in 3, 2, 1, and this is this developing story, episode 77. And yeah, so I wanted to actually take some time and talk about Clubhouse. Clubhouse being, it's funny because Clubhouse, there's a platform. So there's a chat platform which is called Clubhouse, and that's focused on people just basically doing podcasting, but like in conference form. It's like Meetup and Podcasts had a baby. I don't know how to explain that. But then there's like a project management tool called Clubhouse. So if you write code and you don't have enough money for a Jira license, I guess, that's probably not a good explanation. You probably have plenty of money. You just love cool tools like Clubhouse. But what I'm getting at, there's a whole other tool called Clubhouse. So when you Google it, it's going to be very challenging trying to find which one's which. I think at this point, the Clubhouse mobile app has kind of superseded SEO at this point, which, good for them. But I want to talk about the mobile app and the Clubhouse, the chat app. I had an experience earlier this week where I saw Nader Dabbit, and I don't know, Nabbit comes up a lot. He's someone who early on he invited me to his podcast. Oh, this is the wrong. I'm logged into the wrong account on this. Anyway, he invited me to his podcast, React Native Radio. Nader, originally I was introduced because of mobile. I was learning how to use React Native. I gave a talk, which actually I did a whole YouTube video on that experience 2 videos ago on this channel. So like and subscribe, do your thing. And Nader actually invited me to React Native Radio, and I talked about my experience learning how to program iOS using Block, but also how to learn React Native as well. And yeah, I appreciate that experience. I was happy to be on that show. And I think the React Native Radio, Brian Douglas, let's see. Is this episode 22? So this it's pretty early on in there. I didn't realize it was so early on because I felt like they were doing that forever. Because they were doing, actually no, it was pretty new. React Native only been around for, at that point, probably less than a year. But I bring that up because I was following his Twitter, and he did a Clubhouse meeting group room talking about something. I don't know what it was, but I just saw that he did it, and I wanted the opportunity to try that out myself. So I ended up like fumbling through the Clubhouse app, which is really challenging. I don't know how many people actually use this thing, but like when you open up the app, you get this, well, this is not going to work with the lighting, but you get this Clubhouse. I should have actually probably grabbed my screen too as well. I could have did that too, but maybe for in the future if I do talk about mobile apps. But like when you go on Clubhouse, you can like join a room. You can also see rooms that are set in the future. So like right now they have a Black Friday. I guess there's a Black Friday channel. A Black Founders Club, which is a club that I'm in, and that's the other thing. You could actually join clubs, and then in that club. So I'm gonna click on the Breakfast Champion Millionaire thing, and we'll see if.
Club, hop on over there. We'll be talking social media, doing some Q&A, so on and so forth. Thank you guys so much.
Will they be able to answer our questions?
Okay, yeah. So this is the room had just ended. Excellent. But yeah, this is basically the experience. You kind of just go in there. It's kind of awkward. People sort of mumble and talk through, and like, not everybody's a presenter, which is fine. It gives everybody an opportunity to sort of have their space to make conversation, and I really appreciate that. And I've been in Clubhouse for like probably 2 months now, and the entire time I've been in Clubhouse, I've had a whole different experience than most people have had. So like when I read this tweet. Clubhouse feels like a shiny new gatekeeper intentionally excluding folks without means or connections to get in. It's heartbreaking to see tech influencers who have been championing tech equity for so long and jump on the bandwagon without qualms. Now, I responded, this is a take I had not considered. Because when I did my Clubhouse, which I think I could actually just scroll down to when, man, I've got too many fire tweets. But I did a call out and said, hey, I'm going to be doing a Clubhouse because I saw Natter. He did one. So the next day I was like, hey, actually that day I was like, hey, I'm going to mess around and do my own Clubhouse. So I basically, it took me like probably 30 minutes to figure out how to create a club or a house or whatever, these rooms. And then I created it, sent this tweet out, and I sent it out for 3 hours in advance because I was about to go into a meeting and I couldn't figure out how to like share a link to a Clubhouse that I built, that I created just right then and that second. So anyway, long story short, I made it in advance. 3 hours later, I came back and then figured out you can't actually invite people to Clubhouse. You actually have to be invited. And then you also have to be invited through people you know, through iPhone contacts, which is like another hoop because I don't save anybody's numbers on my phone. So like the only people I know are the people I know in real life, which is why I had a different experience in Clubhouse because everybody I know on this phone is not people I know through tech. Everybody I know through tech. I know through like LinkedIn, GitHub, Discord, Twitter. I don't know any of those people on this phone as far as like phone numbers. So all the people I know in real life, those are, if I could say, they're mostly black people. And so the people who invited me to Clubhouse happened to be a person I go to church with. He's a black guy, born and raised in West Oakland. He has a different upbringing experience, but I appreciate that. That's what I love about that friendship. So when I joined Clubhouse, I went to all these black channels, and I thought I had the impression that this was a black app. Like that sounds really silly. I know this is gonna either be super funny or offensive. So let me explain what I mean by black app. So on Twitter, there's this thing called Black Twitter, and it's not a real Twitter. It's basically, how do I explain this? There's a Reddit group called Black People Twitter, and this is kind of like a subset of what Black Twitter is, but it's basically everybody has their own life experiences. Did I really type in Redco? I really meant Reddit. And I don't know how to find Black People Twitter. Yeah, so this is kind of summarizes like the experience that I was having on Clubhouse, which is basically, no. Someone is basically complaining about, I don't know, Chrissy Teigen actually spends $13,000. Just sort of like real hot takes from black people about things they see on Twitter. This is what Clubhouse was to me, because these are the people who introduced me to Clubhouse. So when I see a tweet from someone who's in tech, and this is like it's not a hot take. It's just me sort of understanding what's happening, because I did not even have this take. When I see this as gatekeepers for people who are connected through tech, then I say, oh, you know what? That's different. Like that's not an experience I want to give. I don't want to say, hey, I'm going to give you an hour and a half of free information, but instead of doing a podcast or a live stream on YouTube like this, instead I'm going to do it on Clubhouse where you can't join. And that was not the intention when I did that. The GitHub Actions hour and a half that I did. And also I just want to throw out, it was an hour and a half. It was 45 minutes. And I didn't have a topic. I just asked people for topics, and that's a topic someone told me to do. Actually, Natter told me to do this. And it was a great conversation. Like I got to learn from other people. I learned from someone from Peloton how to use GitHub Actions in their workflow. I learned from Natter what his interests were. I learned from other people how they're leveraging GitHub Actions in the wild. And I was sort of able to talk through basically what I do for my day job, like how to use GitHub Actions and answer questions. And I really appreciated that. It was a great experience, and I felt like I learned and was receiving lots of information from that one experience. But what I want to point out real quick, and I should probably turn off my notifications too as well. I'm not sure why I forgot to do that. What I wanted to point out is that this experience of doing Clubhouse, I felt it was great. I came out with positively influenced by the experience. I was planning on doing like 2 or 3 more of these things, and when I read this, and I didn't even get to the tweet from Kent. Kent is somebody I really respect in open source space, and I still respect. And he threw out a tweet about Clubhouse and how you can literally just do the same thing on Discord. And like to me, I think that is a really valid case. Like I could literally do the same thing I was just doing on Discord. I think the challenge is if I wanted to do that with like as a GitHub employee who talks about GitHub features, I would have to go through so many hoops to get a Discord set up internally and say, okay, well, we're gonna sign up for the Discord, and then nothing's worse than having a community that never to get managed after the one-time event. So I can't do to do a Discord. I would have to, and this is me basically rebutting Clint's tweet, which I could have replied, but I was sort of like dumbfounded, so I didn't really have like a good, concise answer. But like I can't set up a Discord for the sake of talking about GitHub Actions because Discord's gonna have to be there. If I'm like, it's a community that has expectations for management. Like I have a community open source, which I wish I was doing a better job in managing that community. That is something I probably could have did there, but I've tried to keep GitHub and open source separate, and like I don't want GitHub to think that open source is the opportunity for me to sell GitHub or whatever. So I just don't usually do GitHub focused things on open source and that Discord. So I think this works if you already have an existing community. If you're already a part of a community, which I'm part of the Party Corgi Discord, I'm not part of Kent's Discord. I've never signed up, but I'm part of a couple other Discords. I don't really see, when we talk about gatekeeping, I never see it as if I walk in there and say, hey, I want to do an impromptu chat in Discord, give me access, and I'm gonna basically sell people on GitHub Actions. It feels kind of weird. Like I would never do that. If I had a chat just like, hey, let me tell you about angel investing, or let me tell you about, React, I guess I could ask, but there's not really a pathway for me to really understand what the process is. It's a code of conduct, but no one's really figured that out in Discord. Like I think people who sit around in Discord all day probably feel comfortable and confident to be able to say, hey, I'm going to use this Discord to make this chat. So what I'm getting at is things with Clubhouse. Clubhouse, it appears to have a barrier of entry because there's invites. But if you want you to remove that sort of idea of the barrier of entry, it doesn't have a barrier of entry. The only barrier of entry is really you have to know someone who's in to be connected. And the challenge that I have is that most people who follow me on Twitter aren't connected to me on the phone. So it was really hard for me to invite people to my Clubhouse event, to the point where I only did like 4 people, and then I gave up because I had to add them to my phone. I had to send them a text message, confirm that, get them in my contacts, and then invite them to Clubhouse. Like that's kind of a pain. And then everybody who was in my contacts that I thought to invite was already in Clubhouse. So I understand like this sort of like there is a sort of elitism when it comes to Clubhouse. But I was in a Clubhouse last night with 21 Savage the rapper, not in tech. He was also talking with some other rapper that I've never heard of because I'm irrelevant. I'm too old to care. But what I'm getting at is that has nothing to do with tech. So when you start thinking about like the privilege, yeah, people who are big and a big deal like 21 Savage can do a Clubhouse, people will show up and they'll sit and talk and have conversation. That's great. I don't think I can bring in the hundreds of people that he brought into his room. So I think what it is that Clubhouse is a blank canvas. It really is a blank canvas that we're all trying to mold into what our life experiences are. And once you start taking away your life experiences, then it's much better than what you think it is. When you try to apply, okay, these tech influencers are now doing like startup pitches and giving access to investment. I don't know if it's actually that cool. It kind of reminds me of like high school when I didn't spend a lot of time hanging out with everybody in high school. There were a group of people who I associated with who used to go out and party and have parties like on the weekend, stuff like that. Like I never really was involved in that. It seemed like it was a lot of fun, but when I talked to all those people nowadays, it wasn't really that great. It was a bunch of people sitting around looking at each other. And that's usually what it is. So like when I opened up the Clubhouse and it was just a bunch of dead air, silence, no one really talking, and then the thing ended because of probably user error, that's probably 90% of the experience on Clubhouse. People who don't know tech, who are top influencers, fiddling around with things, trying to figure out how things work for like the first 15 minutes, and then getting the conversation going, and then finally figuring out how it goes, and then like, oh, I gotta go. That's Clubhouse. You're not missing out on much because, yeah, it's a lot of navel gazing, a lot of people looking at each other, and that's my 2 cents on Clubhouse. Like, I don't know how much more I guess I can rant on this, but I would really encourage folks, if you do have an invite to Clubhouse, join it. and probably explore outside of just tech. I know a lot of people who watch this channel are here because they want to learn about the developer career and insights and automation and stuff like that. Sorry, had to take a breath. But what I'm getting at is there's so much more to this world than just tech. So like if we kind of zoom out in the lens, I think it's this like so much value you can actually get from Clubhouse, especially if you're looking to change careers and you're not in tech. What I will say is I think I'm actually on the point where I had to think about it, but I will be doing more Clubhouses. I will love to do a Clubhouse like experience in Discord. But I've done that before. I've done the pre-stream chats. I sort of make it like throw it out there. I've done live streams too as well. Like everybody, I've got over 5,000 people who follow me on Twitter. Those 5,000 people don't all join my live stream chats. They don't all listen to this podcast. They don't all, watch all the content I create. So there's an opportunity for me to bring a new community into a fold and feel connected to them by doing a Clubhouse. So I don't think, to answer the question, I don't think Clubhouse is ruining tech. I don't think tech influencers are ruining Clubhouse. And I think we might be jumping the gun a little bit on what this thing is. I think Clubhouse, yes, I think one day they'll probably get more VC funding and they will either sell to Twitter or Facebook or somebody else scary. And then we'll all figure out whether or not we actually want to be here. We saw the same thing with Meerkat, with the live streaming. I don't remember who Meerkat was purchased by, but Periscope. When was the last time you did a live stream on Twitter? Let me see. Bought by. Sorry, now I check to see who bought Meerkat. Oh, actually, this failed. The thing never actually got bought. It just sunsetted. That's what happened. Yeah, because Periscope. Actually, I thought Meerkat was. And sorry, I'm looking at Meerkat, which is the live streaming app. This is like when I think it was pretty exciting. It was like right when I moved to San Francisco. I didn't know anybody in San Francisco, so I followed a bunch of people on Twitter, and then the Meerkat app came out, and this was like a way for you to just go live on air, live stream, just right there and there on your phone. And that came out, and then Periscope came out, and then Periscope got bought by Twitter, and it got integrated into Twitter Live feature. So like you can go live stream on Twitter, which I don't see a lot of people do. I see a lot of news programs use it. I see the NFL use it. I see every now and then I'll see like some people I follow in tech use it, but it's never a great experience. It's just kind of, it's kind of like this. You just listen to people talk, but there's not a lot of interaction. So what I like about Clubhouse, so going back on my rant, what I like about Clubhouse is that Clubhouse, it looks like my camera failed too as well. Oh, now you're just seeing me doing nothing. All right, let's see if I can get this camera back on. Would it be a live stream if I didn't if I didn't have a technical difficulty? So far, so good. There we go. What was I getting at? Anyway, I think I've made my point. I don't need to actually clearly state anything more about Clubhouse, but just know that I'll be doing it in the future. Definitely follow me on Twitter because I'll be doing links on twitter.com/bwyo when I go live on Clubhouse. I think it's a great opportunity to engage the community. The only thing that my sort of gripe about it is that it's mobile only. It'd be great to sort of hook a Clubhouse into live streams, into video and stuff like that. What I do want to do in the future is I do want to connect Discord directly live to the live stream on Twitch, so that way folks can pair program with me. I think that's one thing that I'm sort of missing out on in the live streams is being able to chat and talk to folks and sort of like just go down the rabbit hole together. I've probably have mentioned the stream I did with Anthony Campolo quite a few times because I felt like it was the first time where actually it clicked. I think Twitch really is about the interaction and connection and being able to talk about the project while also building it. was a great experience for me. It's something that I've been trying to get back to for a year, is just write code regularly. And as a developer advocate, you tend to just write a bunch of code. It never goes anywhere. It just gets shipped into the ether. And the sadness of that makes me sad about is that a lot of the projects I build, it's sort of, they don't really get more work. I don't ever get a chance to ship it again or write test or just sort of add a new feature because yeah, it solves the problem once and then you move on. So what I would love to do is start building. The thing I want to be working on is to see recommendation engine for open source. It's basically going to let you know what projects to contribute to. It's something I've been pretty passionate about. I've kind of taken a bit of a break from open source past couple months, but we're merging independent bot PRs though, so it's still moving along. It's just mostly maintenance updates. So I will go ahead and end it there. And this has been a fun opportunity to chat with you, to share my concerns and considerations for Clubhouse. I think it is worth checking out. So look out. I will probably create a open source club in the future for folks who want to talk open source. And with that, stay saucy. Cool. I realize, folks, if you are actually, I don't think anybody's chatting, but yeah, at the end, normally I'll probably start doing Q&As at the end of these things. So if you do want to pop in questions, just do that, and I'm happy to answer questions in the future. But for now, I'm gonna jump off because I've got some videos to edit.